Okay, we're discussing, what are we discussing, everyone?
Christopher Columbus
This is
found
free
America
answer.
for the Europeans.
Okay, I said Christopher Columbus, this is Columbus Day, now don't talk when I'm talking. You're not allowed to talk over me. So your discipline will be on this, and I will discipline you accordingly so that a new teacher or any teacher out there would see how real teaching happens in real time. Okay? So, if you're quiet, then they know you're disciplined. If you start blurting and talking out of turn, then they know that you're not. So, what we were trying to figure out is, okay, I said something, but I said it with a caveat. What did I say, and how did I say it exactly? Yes?
For the Europeans.
Okay, but what did I say? Restate the whole statement.
Christopher Columbus found America for the Europeans.
Okay, now I put that caveat, and I explained caveat 1 month ago. So who knows what caveat means? Who could explain what caveat means? Because not everybody thinks that 5th graders know what caveat means. Yes, 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 yes.
Rule.
A rule. With this additional
Condition.
That's an even better way of saying it. So with the condition that he found it for the Europeans, now raise your hand if you know why I say that specifically, that Christopher Columbus founded America, or found America for the Europeans. And I want to see if somebody comes to the epiphany or the deep insight that I'm trying to dig up. Go. Now I usually say their name, but because, you know, parents didn't authorize, I don't prefer to say children's names. I'll call their nicknames, but I don't know their nicknames quite yet. Go.
So if Christopher Columbus found America for the Europeans, he basically made it so that the Europeans own America. So if anyone else wants to go there, they would have to pay Europe.
Okay, so you got to speak really, really loud because the microphone's only in the middle here, so you're screaming toward the microphone. This is also a biofeedback lesson in the fact that if I post this on YouTube, then the children will know whether they're loud enough. If the microphone can hear them, then they're loud enough. If not, then you need to learn how to do what with your voice? Project. So there's a lot of things you can learn from this after I post this. You can, biofeedback your own voice. Plus your parents are listening to see, does my child actually pay attention and participate in class? So there's a lot that could be learned from this video when I post it. Yes?
Well, the Europeans sponsored his trip, so they get credit for him finding it.
This is true. The Europeans, in fact, the Spanish, we talked about that, the Spanish specifically, because I'm sure he approached the Italians first and they said, no, we're not going to sponsor you. So their royalty didn't, but the Spanish royalty, Queen Isabella and King Ferdinand did. So why am I being so particular about saying Christopher Columbus discovered America for the Europeans, discovered America for the Europeans? That's an important caveat because you need to understand the different perspectives. Yes?
He found it for the Europeans because, he found it for the Europeans because the Europeans helped him, and also once he found it, he couldn't have done it without the Europeans, so basically all the credit goes to the Europeans.
Okay.
Well, technically, Europe didn't have to search for it at all, but a person from Italy did. So technically, he found it for them, kind of like Europe didn't have to search for it at all.
That's true. They didn't have to. So we're getting hotter, actually. We're getting hotter to the insight, the deep insight I want you to see about it and what you're trying to get to here. So I want to see some hands because somebody's going to come up with this and it's going to be on YouTube. And you're going to be like, wow, I was a genius. I was the one that came up with this massive insight that no one else in this class can figure out. And I will give 3 tally marks when that person does it. So let's see if you can really dig into your brain.
The Europeans paid Christopher Columbus to find America, so he did it for them because they
Yes, but I'm trying to find somebody who can break out of the mold of everybody saying pretty much the same thing. We're pretty much saying the same thing. And it's important to think differently. If you know the Apple logo back in the old days, it was about thinking different. Not just thinking what everyone else is saying, but saying it in a different way. I'm asking you to break out of that mold right this second. And this is why it's so challenging. We've had about 20 answers and none of them have actually hit what I'm trying to say. Why is it that he found it for the Europeans?
Because the Native Americans came here before Christopher Columbus did.
Is that a different line of reasoning? Is that different
Yeah.
than what pretty much everybody else said?
Yeah.
So if you think about it, wasn't there already a group of people here? And who were they?
Native American.
Native Americans. So he found it and claimed it when there was already a very highly developed culture of people. So did he really find it?
No.
Well, he did find it for the,
European.
and that was what table? Orange gets 3. I promised 3 tally marks, and so they get 3 tally marks for that insight. That's a major insight, because then there's people in certain parts of America that when we celebrate, not everybody celebrates Christopher Columbus Day because not everybody appreciates his accomplishment as much as, you know, the other. We have differing opinions in America. If you're a Native American, what do you think when Christopher Columbus Day comes around?
I hate him.
You probably get very frustrated because your cultures were many varied styles, and there were so many different ways that they adapted, and so many beautiful different ways that they were able to adapt to our, you know, to this new land. And then once Christopher Columbus came and introduced it to the Europeans, that was like a virus that kind of spread across our country and annihilated an already healthy community, or a healthy set of communities, right? So that's what I was trying to dig deep in. And now, does that kind of change your perspective?
Yeah.
Okay, not to say I'm knocking Christopher Columbus, because I am actually, are we not in a country that's a super strong country because of his initial find for the Europeans? And we are benefiting from those cultural differences or cultural manifestations of how, from when we were in Europe, those manifestations and those understandings that were brought over from or imported from Europe, and we are actually part of a country that came from European ideals, right? And we love this country, but at the same time you have to see different perspectives and play devil's advocate sometimes. So anyways, that's what I was trying to dig, and we got it. So moving on.